Welcome back everyone to Theory B of Chapter 8.3 Enlargements. And now we're really going to take a look at how we can calculate with scale factors, right? So we introduced what they are in Theory A. Now how can we use them in calculations? And they immediately start out with an example of this. They say a souvenir shop in New York sells scale models of the Empire State Building. Okay, you have miniature B and you have miniature A. They say miniature B, the right one, is an enlargement of miniature A. So this is the enlargement. So this is going to be your image, your new thing. And this is going to be your object, the thing where you start with. You need to measure corresponding distances in the object and image to find a scale factor. What do they mean with this? For example, measure the two heights. Okay, if I measure this height, or if they have done it, they measured that the height of A was 2.5 centimeters and the height of B was 5.5 centimeters. How can you now calculate the scale factor? Well, you're just going to divide the height of B by the height of A. So they divide the new height, 5.5, the height of the image by the height of the object, 2.5, gives me a scale factor of 2.2, and they call that K. We always use the letter K when we refer to scale factors, okay? Could I use different dimensions? Yes, you could. If you've now used the width of both, so the width of this thing is 2.2 and the width of this thing is 1, dividing 2.2 by 1 also gives me 2.2. So you don't always have to take the height. And that's how we get a formula for scale factor K. The formula for scale factor K is going to be, K is the distance in an image, so the distance in the new thing, can be the height, can be the width, can be something else, divided by the corresponding distance in the object. And by corresponding, I mean, if you take the height here, then you also take the height here. You cannot take the height here and the width here. That's not corresponding. Or the width here and the height there. So if you take the height here, that's perfectly fine. Then take the height here as well. And you always divide the distance in the image by the distance in the object. So here's another example, right, that they just used. If I use both the heights, then I find 2.2. If I use both the widths, I find 2.2 as well. So that doesn't change your scale factor, because every line is going to be enlarged either 2.2 in this case. So if I would, this case, take the heights, I should find that they have been enlarged 2.2, but my widths should be have been enlarged by 2.2 as well. How can we apply this? Let's take a look at this question right here. They start out with a miniature car at A. An enlargement has been made of the model, but they don't view the whole enlargement here. They only show you a part of the enlargement. How can I now calculate the scale factor? That's question A. Well, we can't measure the whole length of the car or the whole width, because the whole length and the whole width are not in this image. But we can also just take a part that's visible here and a part that's visible here, as long as they are corresponding. So the book says, well, for example, measure the line segments between the wheels from here P to Q and from P prime to Q prime. Those are corresponding because they are the same length here and there. They measured that this was, here PQ was 1.2 centimeters and P prime and Q prime is 2.4 centimeters. The formula for the scale factor was the distance in the image in the new thing divided by the corresponding distance in the object. This is my image because this is my enlargement. I start with this and this is the enlargement, my new thing. So I divide 2.4 by 1.2, gives me just 2. So apparently P prime, Q prime, the distance in this wheel is 2 times as big as it was here. And all the other lines in this image are going to be twice as long as well. And that's what we're going to use in example B. Calculate the length in centimeters of the car in the enlarged picture. But then you say, sir, I don't have the whole picture, so I cannot measure it. You don't have to, because you know that every line in this picture is going to be twice as long. And compared to my object, right? So if I just measure my length here, that's from here to there, you will find that's 4.4 centimeters. Now what's going to be the length of this thing? Well, we know from A that every line is going to be twice as long. So the total length of this car is going to be K times the length of the object. So my scale factor times the length of what I start with is 2 times 4.4 is 8.8 centimeter. Okay? So remember, my scale factor indicates how much bigger or smaller my new lines are in my image, and that applies to all the lines. Okay? Use that to your advantage. Try to do some exercises and view some extra videos if you have difficulties with some of them. Good luck.